Dear students, this is my second class in the unit of solids. So in the last class, we have learned about solids in general, and also divided them into crystalline and amorphous solids. Now, and we have recognized that crystalline solids are divided in 4 classes depending on what are the constituent particles there and how these constituent particles are bound together in the solid. So in this class, at first we will start with how these solids are classified into these 4 classes in details. And so let us go one by one. About the first class, about the first classification of solid, crystalline solids, which is molecular solids. You have recognized that the molecular solids are solids which consist of molecules. Unlike you commonly have learned, all substances are not made of molecules. Particularly, all solids are not made of molecules. Only the molecular solids are made of molecules. Solids such as ice, where there is individual molecules, individual water molecules in ice, as you can see. And in molecular solids, there are the different kinds of molecules, and they are bound together by different means. Accordingly, the molecular solids are further subdivided into 3 classes. So, molecular solids are solids that consist of molecules as the constituent particles. And these molecules may be non-polar molecules such as iodine, or polar molecules such as SO2, and out of some polar molecules, some may be so strongly polar that they are bound by hydrogen bonds and, to one another. Accordingly, the molecular solids are further classified into non-polar molecular solids and polar molecular solids and hydrogen bonded molecular solids, where hydrogen bonded molecular solids are actually just one and different kind of polar molecular solids, because in hydrogen bonded molecular solids, the molecules are polar ones, such as H2O or NH3, where the polarity is quite strong, and because of that, the intermolecular interactions, that is the force or interaction between one molecule and the neighboring and its neighboring molecules, such intermolecular interactions is quite strong in case of hydrogen bonded molecular solids, because hydrogen bonds are, as we know, quite strong intermolecular interactions. So in the non-polar molecular solids, the interactions between molecules is quite less, because in the case of non-polar molecular solids, non-polar substances such as iodine, the force between one molecule and the neighboring molecule is generated, as you have learned in first year intermolecular forces chapter, as you have learned that this, in case of non-polar molecules such as iodine, I2 molecules, the force or intermolecular interactions between one molecule such as one I2 molecule and then another I2 molecule is due to a weak intermolecular force, which is called dispersion forces. Whereas in case of polar molecules, the interaction between one molecule, polar molecule, for example, SO2. SO2 has a bent structure and it has a dipole. What do you remember what is polar and non-polar? Polar means that the molecule has a positively charged part and a negatively charged part. The molecule, the charge distribution in a polar molecule is not uniform. One part is slightly positively charged, less than 1 unit, less than 1 electronic unit, but nevertheless it is some charge separation is there. One part is slightly positively charged, another part is slightly negatively charged. As you know, in case of H2O molecule, water molecule, the oxygen atom is slightly negatively charged and the two hydrogen atoms are slightly positively charged. So there is a polarity separation, charge separation. Accordingly, the polar molecules have dipoles, electrical dipoles, and non-polar molecules does not have or have zero electrical dipoles. Accordingly, in case of polar molecules, the intermolecular interaction between one molecule and another molecule will be dipole-dipole interactions, as you learned in first year. And these dipole-dipole interactions will be stronger than the dispersion forces found in non-polar molecules. So in case of a non-polar molecule I2, the intermolecular interaction will be dispersion force and quite weak, whereas in case of SO2, a polar molecule, the interaction will be between one molecule and the neighboring molecule, it will be dipole-dipole interaction and it will be stronger. Whereas in case of hydrogen bonded substances, hydrogen bonded molecules, such as ice, the interaction between one molecule and the neighboring molecules will be a strong dipole-dipole interactions, which is known as hydrogen bonds. Hydrogen bonds is not as you remember hopefully, that hydrogen bond is not a covalent bond, rather it is a intermolecular interaction, but stronger than most other form of intermolecular interactions. So between one ice molecule, one H2O molecule and another neighboring H2O molecule, there will be this strong type of intermolecular interaction between molecule and another molecule. This is intermolecular. So the strong type of intermolecular interactions known as hydrogen bonds. Hydrogen bonds are, as you remember, are found between molecules, two molecules, each having a hydrogen atom and a strongly electronegative atom such as fluorine, oxygen and nitrogen. So in case of H2O, there is hydrogen atom in one molecule and in a neighboring molecule nearby there is a oxygen atom. So between the hydrogen atom of one molecule, which is slightly positively charged, and the oxygen atom of a neighboring molecule, which is slightly negatively charged, there will be strong intermolecular interaction, intermolecular forces, which is called hydrogen bonds. Because it is much stronger than other polar molecule case, such as H2S. It doesn't have hydrogen bond, but H2S is polar molecule, and one H2S molecule will be attracted to another nearby H2S molecule with the help of dipole-dipole interactions. Whereas H2O, there will be between two H2O molecules also there is hydrogen. There is between one H2O molecule and another H2O molecule also there is strong dipole-dipole interactions, but the dipole-dipole interaction is so strong that it is named in a different way, the hydrogen bond it is named. Accordingly, we divide the molecular solids in three classes. Such as non-polar molecular solids, such as I2, polar molecular solids, such as SO2, and hydrogen bonded molecular solids such as ice, that is H2O. So these here you see a correction that in the CBSE book, solid NH3 is written as a polar molecular solids, whereas as you know NH3 always have hydrogen bonds between one NH3 molecule and another NH3 molecule. So accordingly, solid NH3 should come rather in the hydrogen bonded molecular solids category. Now, we see that in these three subclasses of molecular solids, the intermolecular forces are gradually stronger. In the nonpolar molecular solids, the intermolecular force is quite weak, which is weak dispersion forces. Whereas in case of polar molecular solids, the intermolecular forces are intermediate, which is ordinary dipole-dipole interactions. For example, in case of SO2 or maybe solid H2S, the intermolecular forces is intermediate. And in case of hydrogen bonded molecular solids such as ice, it is the intermolecular forces are quite strong. Accordingly, the nonpolar molecular solids will be softest, because the softness or hardness of a molecule will softness or hardness of the solid as a whole will depend on how easy it is to separate one set of molecules from another set of molecules. So accordingly, for nonpolar molecular solids, forces in neighboring molecules is quite weak, and accordingly this nonpolar molecular solids such as I2 will be quite soft, iodine will be quite soft. Whereas in case of polar molecular solids such as solid SO2, it will be intermediately soft. Whereas in case of hydrogen bonded molecular solids such as ice, it will be somewhat hard. As you see, piece of ice is quite hard, not like iodine or something. All these molecular solids has a common characteristics that they are electrical non-conductors or electrical insulators, because these do not have carriers of electricity such as electrons or ions. These molecular solids do not have charged particles. As you know, in case of a metal, there will be electrons which can separate out from the original atom from which it is coming and go in the far away within the metal piece. Accordingly, metals have these electrons which can carry electricity from one place to another, and metals are good conductors of electricity. Whereas all these molecular solids will be non-conductor or insulator of electricity. Thirdly, we can also see that depending on the strength of intermolecular interactions, the melting points and boiling points of the nonpolar solids will be lesser, provided we have similar molecular weight. And then molecular weight, with molecular weight the substances tend to, more molecular weight, the substances tend to remain in the solid state. So accordingly, if we see the variations for substances with similar molecular weights, then we will be observed that nonpolar molecular solids have the less melting point and boiling point, whereas hydrogen bonded molecular solids have the highest melting point and boiling point, and polar molecular solids will have intermediate. One interesting example is about H2O and H2S. H2S, the molecular mass of the H2S molecule is more than H2O, but because of H2O having hydrogen bonded interactions between one H2O molecule and another, and H2S does not have hydrogen bonded interaction, simply have dipole-dipole interactions. Accordingly, because H2O has strong intermolecular forces, so H2O, even though it has lesser molecular weight compared to molecular mass compared to H2S, it will have more melting point. This H2O will tend to remain solid to much more extent. Accordingly, it will have more melting point than H2S. So these are the variations. So let us now come to the ionic solids class. So in the ionic solids, there are lines of ions, cations and anions, that is the positive ions and the negative ions lined together in a regular arrangement, so that every cation is surrounded by some anions and every anion is similarly surrounded by some neighboring cations. So the easiest example to learn is about sodium chloride, that is common salt solid structure. So in the inside, microscopic inside of the sodium chloride crystal, you will see every Na plus ion, Na plus cation surrounded by 6 Cl minus anions in the 6 directions, 6 perpendicular directions: top, left, right, and front, bottom, and front, back, and bottom. So as you see here in this picture, and similarly every Cl minus anion is surrounded by 6 Na plus ions, and these Na plus ions and Cl minus ions thus continuing to form a long lines of regular arrangements. Now you can recognize that the distance between one cation and the neighboring anions is same to the distance of that any neighboring anion, say any Cl minus anion, to the Na plus ions further away. So all the cation anion, neighboring cation anion distances are equal, and you cannot distinguish any molecule. In case of ice, structure of ice, you will recognize that the oxygen atom has 2 closely placed hydrogen atoms, and together these 2 hydrogen atoms and the oxygen atom form one molecule, and the other hydrogen atoms and oxygen atoms of the other molecules lie further away, much further away from the compared to the distances within the molecule, OH distances within the molecule. But in case of NaCl or any such ionic solids or other kind of solids, this will be not the case, that you cannot distinguish molecules in this way. All the neighboring bond interactions are equivalent. In case of ionic solids, you will see the cations and neighboring anions, or anion and neighboring cations, are bound together by ionic or electrovalent bonds between them, and this we can say that replaces the intermolecular interactions. In these ionic solids, the particles are the ions, not molecules, and between one ion and the neighboring oppositely charged ion, there is this ionic or electrovalent bond, which is the interaction in case of all ions and the neighboring ions. So, unlike molecular solids, where one molecule is bound to the neighboring molecule by a weak intermolecular interaction, in case of ionic solid, all the ions are bound to the neighboring ions by much stronger bonds, that is ionic bond. So you see, we are not comparing strength of covalent bond and ionic bond. In case of molecular solids, between one molecule and another, there is intermolecular forces, intermolecular interactions. And in case of ionic solids, between one ion and all its neighboring ion, there is ionic bond. Accordingly, these ionic solids are very difficult to break and very difficult for the ions to get separated. So, accordingly, we see that the ionic solids are hard, and it is not easy to cut a ionic solid such as sodium chloride crystal. It will not be easy because all the forces between any ion and the neighboring ions are everywhere. It is quite strong. So now in ionic solids, the other characteristics of ionic solids are that they are insulators of electricity, that is, they are non-conductors of electricity, and this happens because in ionic solids also the ions though they are charged particles, they cannot move from one place to another. In case of a solid substance, the ionic solid substance, the ions cannot move around and carry electricity. In case of molecular solids, the molecules are uncharged and they also cannot move around. So in both these cases, the ionic solids, molecular solids, we see that the solids, these two class of solids are non-conductors in the solid state. However, what happens in the ionic solid in liquid state, when an ionic solid is heated and it melts, then if it becomes a liquid, then this salt, molten ionic substance will become a conductor of electricity, because in the liquid state, these ions, which has positive and negative charges, they can move around freely and carry electricity from one place to another. In the further, because of the strong interactions between every particle and its neighboring particles, constituent particles in ionic solid, the ionic solids are hard, very hard and brittle, and has high melting point. That means because the ionic interactions, inter-particle interactions are quite high in ionic solids, so the solids tend to remain in the solid state, not become a liquid easily. Accordingly, the melting point is very high. Similarly, boiling point is also very high. Next comes the class of metallic solids. In the metallic solids, the metals give off ions. The valence electrons are given off by the metal atoms, and so a metal crystal, a piece of metal, which is a crystalline solid made of metal atoms. What happens there? Every metal atom give off one or two electrons, which are the valence electrons, and because they are very loosely bound in metals, so these electrons can come out of the domain of the individual atom and move around here and there. So, in case of a metallic solid, the solid structure consists of those metal ions, which are formed by virtue of metal atoms giving off electrons, one or more electrons, and forming ions. And these electrons are free to move. They are free to move here and there everywhere. So we call the free electrons in the metal which comes out from the metal atoms and move here and there, we call them sea of electrons, electron or Hagar. Accordingly, the electrons are mobile and they can carry electricity from one place to another. The electrical, if there is a electrical potential difference, the electrons can move from one portion of the metal to other and carry electricity. So metal has a very high electrical conductivity. They are electrical conductors, as we already know. And similar, for same reason, because the metals can, because the electrons in the metal can move from one place to another and carry not only electricity but also heat. So the metals are, as you know, good conductors of heat also. So metal bilak সেই কাৰণে মানে বিদ্যুৎ আৰু তাপ দুইটাৰে ভাল পৰিবহন কৰিব পাৰে বা good conductor হয়. Good conductors of both electricity and heat. মেটেল বিলাকৰ আৰু এটা কেৰেক্টাৰিষ্টিক প্ৰপাৰ্টি দেখা যায়, তাত চিকমিকনি থাকে আৰু এটা ৰং থাকে, সেইটো ফ্ৰী ইলেক্ট্ৰন বিলাক থকাৰ কাৰণেই হয়। আৰু মেটেলবোৰত যেহেতু মেটেল এটম বিলাকৰ মাজত এই বণ্ডটো অলপ উইকাৰ ধৰণৰ, সেইকাৰণে মেটেলবোৰ বহল কৰি পেলাব পাৰি, সফ্ট অলপ মেটেলবোৰ বহলাই পেলাব পাৰি, can be made into plates by hammering or can be made into threads. মানে থ্ৰেডৰ নিচিনাকৈ ৱায়াৰৰ দৰে মেটেলবোৰ শ্বেপত উলিয়াব পাৰি। এই প্ৰপাৰ্টিটো কোৱা হয়, যে আমি যে মেটেলবিলাক যে প্লেটৰ নিচিনা কৰিব পাৰোঁ তাকে কয় মেলিয়েবল, চেপেটা কৰিব পৰা। আৰু মেটেলবোৰ যে ৱায়াৰৰ দৰে আমি শ্বেপত আনিব পাৰোঁ, ৱায়াৰ হিচাপে ড্ৰ কৰিব পাৰোঁ, that is called ductile property. গতিকে মেটেলবিলাক মেলিয়েবল আৰু ডাকটাইল, আৰু সেইটো হৈছে, এইটো পচিবল হৈছে কাৰণ মেটেলবিলাকৰ ক্ষেত্ৰত এই পাৰ্টিকল ইণ্টাৰেকশ্যনছ বিলাক অলপ কম হয়। কেনেকুৱা ইণ্টাৰেকশ্যনছ আছে যে মেটেল আয়নছ বিলাক, পজিটিভলি চাৰ্জ মেটেল আয়নছ বিলাক ফৰ্ম হ'ল আৰু সেইবিলাকক ইলেক্ট্ৰন বিলাকে ফ্ৰীলি মোবাইল ইলেক্ট্ৰন বিলাকে ধৰি ৰাখিলে, গতিকে স্লাইটলি লুজলি ধৰি ৰাখিছে। গতিকে এই মেটেলৰ আমি ইণ্টাৰেষ্টিংলি দেখা পাওঁ যে মেলিয়েবল এণ্ড ডাকটাইল, সিহঁতৰ শ্বেপটো বদলাব পাৰি, অলপ ছফ্ট, কিন্তু সিহঁত মেটেলবিলাকৰ মেল্টিং পইণ্টটো কিন্তু মানে কিছুমান ক্ষেত্ৰত হাই আৰু কিছুমান ক্ষেত্ৰত ল'। মেল্টিং পইণ্টটো কেতিয়াবা যথেষ্ট হাই হোৱাও দেখা যায় কিছুমান মেটেলৰ ক্ষেত্ৰত। তাৰপিছত আমাৰ ফৰ্থ ক্লাছিফিকেশ্যনটো হ'ল কোভেলেণ্ট অৰ নেটৱৰ্ক চলিড। দিছ ইজ ইণ্টাৰেষ্টিং। হেয়াৰ the particles are bound together by covalent bonds. Particles are atoms. In case of a network or solid or covalent solid, the constituent particles, the kihere gothito hoise a covalent solid to, a constituent particle bilak molecules nahoy. Molecular solidor bade kotu teneke molecules nai. Covalent solidor ক্ষেত্ৰত particles, constituent particles বিলাক হ'ল atoms, আৰু সেইবিলাক ইটোৰ লগত সিটো covalent bondৰে bound হৈ আছে। আৰু গোটেই solid পিচটো, গোটেই ক্ৰিষ্টেলটো, মানে solid পিচৰ ভিতৰত এটা ক্ৰিষ্টেল আমি যেনেকৈ দেখা পাম, সেই এটা covalent solidৰ গোটেই ক্ৰিষ্টেলটোৱে এটা জায়েণ্ট মলিকুল হিচাপে ইমাজিন কৰিব পাৰি, য'ত সব এটম বিলাকে ইটোৰ লগত সিটো covalent bonded হৈ আছে, forming long lines. যেনেকে এটা ইণ্টাৰেষ্টিং এক্সাম্পল হ'ল চিলিকা, quartz. So this silica SiO2 is the formula. ইয়াতে ষ্ট্ৰাকচাৰটো তোমালোকে দেখা পাবা, আগৰবাৰ দেখিছা। চিলিকাৰ মলিকুল নাই, চিলিকা চলিডৰ ক্ষেত্ৰত আমি দেখো যে সিলিকন এটম বিলাক নেইবাৰিং অক্সিজেন এটমৰ লগত কোভেলেন্ট বন্ডেৰে বাউণ্ড হৈ আছে আৰু অক্সিজেন এটম বিলাক আকৌ নেইবাৰিং সিলিকন এটমৰ লগত কোভেলেন্ট বন্ডেৰে বাউণ্ড হৈ আছে অকনমান ষ্ট্ৰাকচাৰটো আয়নিক সলিডৰ লগত মিল এটা আছে যে সব মানে এটম বিলাকে এক ধৰণৰ বন্ডেৰে বাউণ্ড হৈ আছে আয়নিক সলিডত ঠিক এটম নহয় আয়নছ বিলাক নেইবাৰিঙৰ লগত আয়নিক বন্ডেৰে বাউণ্ড হৈ আছে আৰু কোভেলেন্ট সলিডত প্ৰত্যেকটো এটম ইচ এটম ইজ বাউণ্ড টু দ্য নেইবাৰিং এটমছ বাই কোভেলেন্ট বণ্ডছ যেহেতু গোটেইবিলাক কোভেলেন্ট সলিড এটাত প্ৰত্যেকটো এটমেই ইটো আন এবিলাক এটমৰ লগত কোভেলেন্ট বণ্ড ষ্ট্ৰং কোভেলেন্ট বণ্ডেৰে বাউণ্ড হৈ আছে সিহঁতৰ মানে এই কোভেলেন্ট বণ্ডটো ব্ৰেক কৰা খুব দিগদাৰ জাষ্ট লাইক আমাৰ আয়নিক সলিডছ ইয়াতো খুব দিগদাৰ আৰু সেইকাৰণে তাৰ মেল্টিং পইণ্টটো ইটছ ভেৰি ডিফিকাল্ট টু মেক দেম ছেপাৰেট এণ্ড একৰ্ডিংলি এইটো লিকুইড হ'ব নোৱাৰিব এই সলিড ষ্ট্ৰাকচাৰটোত ৰৈ যাব খোজে লিকুইড হোৱাটো ইজি নহয় গতিকে দে হেভ ভেৰি হাই মেল্টিং পইণ্টছ এক্সাম্পল দিছ ডায়মণ্ড সিলিকন কাৰ্বাইড সিলিকা এণ্ড ছ' অন আমি এবাৰ লক্ষ্য কৰোঁ যে কোভেলেন্ট আৰু নেটৱৰ্ক সলিডত কিন্তু দুটা ক্লাছ থাকিব পাৰে এটা হ'ল আমাৰ কমপ্লিট নেটৱৰ্ক সলিড আৰু আনটোৰ ক্ষেত্ৰত লেয়াৰ পাম গতিকে এক্সাম্পলটো একেটা বস্তুৰে একেটা কেমিকেল ছাবষ্টেঞ্চৰে দুটা এল'ট্ৰপক আমি এক্সাম্পল হিচাপে ল'ব পাৰোঁ সেইটো হ'ল কাৰ্বনৰ দুটা এল'ট্ৰপ ডায়মণ্ড আৰু গ্ৰেফাইট ডায়মণ্ডৰ ক্ষেত্ৰত এভৰি কাৰ্বন এটম ডায়মণ্ড ইজ মেড অফ কাৰ্বন so in diamond every carbon atom is bound to 4 other carbon atoms by covalent bonds then next those carbon atoms are also bound to 4 carbon atoms one to the back and 3 more teneke diamondor khetrot carbon atom bilak complete network eta form kori ase প্ৰত্যেকটো in a piece of diamond crystal every carbon atom is bound to every other carbon atom through a network of through a linkage of covalent bonds বুজি পাইছা in case of graphite however there are different layers in case of graphite as we see in this picture there are layers of strongly covalent bonded carbon atoms, each carbon atom bound to 3 other carbon atoms. And the carbon is, however, has 4 valency. And so the last valency of the carbon, strong covalent bonded carbon atom bilak 3 ta carbon atom logot bound hoy gol. Aru eta valency roi jay, ei valency tore কাৰ্বন এটমটো অলপ দূৰত থকা আন লেয়াৰৰ লগত বাউণ্ড হয় তেনেকে আমি ইয়াতে ইন দিছ পিকচাৰ আমি তিনিটা লেয়াৰ দেখিছো গ্ৰাফাইটৰ তাৰে তিনিটা লেয়াৰ প্ৰত্যেকটো লেয়াৰে হেক্সাগনেল ষ্ট্ৰাকচাৰ আছে এটা every carbon atom is bound to 3 other carbon atoms forming hexagonal layers now these hexagonal layers are bound together by weaker forces accordingly weaker forces to other layers so তোমার distance to যদি মন করা carbon carbon distance within the layer neighboring carbon carbon distance is just around 142 picometer whereas one layer and the neighboring layer হিহঁতৰ কাৰ্বনৰ nearest distance to হল 340 picometer তেনেকৈ আমাৰ গ্ৰাফাইটৰ ক্ষেত্ৰত there are layers of carbon atoms and within the layers there is the bond is weaker আৰু এই লেয়াৰবোৰ মুভ কৰিব পাৰে ইটোৰ ওপৰত হিটো স্লাইড কৰি যাব পাৰে কাৰণ লং ডিসটেন্স হেৰি হোৱা কাৰণে উইকাৰ বন্ড হোৱা কাৰণে ইন্টাৰমলিকুলাৰ ধৰণৰ ইণ্টাৰেকশ্যন হোৱাৰ কাৰণে লং ডিষ্টেঞ্চ উইক ইণ্টাৰেকশ্যন হোৱাৰ কাৰণে এই লেয়াৰবিলাক শ্লাইড কৰিব পাৰে আৰু গ্ৰেফাইটটো ছফ্ট হয় আৰু এইটো লুব্ৰিকেণ্ট হিচাপে ইউজ কৰিব পাৰি গ্ৰেফাইটক কিন্তু ডায়মণ্ডটো কমপ্লিট ডিফাৰেণ্ট কাৰণ ডায়মণ্ডৰ কমপ্লিটলি ফুল নেটৱৰ্ক ষ্ট্ৰাকচাৰ আছে আৰু তাক ছেপাৰেট কৰা ইজি নহয় এতিয়া গ্ৰেফাইটৰ ক্ষেত্ৰত যিহেতু এই এটা ভেলেঞ্চি এক্সট্ৰা হৈ গৈছে আৰু সেইটো অলপ উইক হৈ থাকে গতিকে তাত এই সেই ভেলেঞ্চিটো যিটো ইলেক্ট্ৰনে ফৰ্ম কৰিছে ফৰ এভৰি কাৰ্বন এটম ওৱান ইলেক্ট্ৰন যিটো ফৰ্ম কৰিছে সেইটো অলপ ৰিলেটিভলি মোবাইল হৈ থাকে সেইটো এঠাইৰ পৰা আন এঠাইলৈ যাব পাৰে ইন কেছ অফ গ্ৰেফাইট সেইকাৰণে গ্ৰেফাইটৰ ক্ষেত্ৰত আমি দেখা পাওঁ যে দে আৰ somewhat good conductor of electricity and it is a soft solid because the layers can move past one another. This is here we finish the classification of solids.